it's been more than a year since we saw Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Remember, that was released in the summer of 2023. And here we are in December of 2024, and director James Mangold comes out and says that the reason why people didn't go out and watch this movie, the reason why it lost so much money for Disney, is the fact that Harrison Ford was too old. What? So here we have this article from over World of Real. Jordan Remy. I can never pronounce his last name. I apologize. Put this article out there. James Mangold hurt by Indiana Jones 5. Blames it on Harrison Ford's age. It was a mistake to premiere James Mangold's Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny at Cannes, where it garnered decisively mixed reviews. Post-Cannes reviews were slightly more favorable. It's currently at 70% on Rotten Tomatoes, but not enough to save it from becoming a box office failure. It's possible that moviegoers were so turned off by 2008's Kingdom of the Crystal Skull that they decided to tune out Dial of Destiny by the time it rolled around in theaters. It had been 15 years since Crystal Skull when Dial of Destiny came out. So to say that it's possible that they were turned off by Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, maybe, but I doubt it. However, Mangold has a different theory on why it failed. The filmmaker is telling Deadline that it might have had to do with the audience reluctance to watch an 81-year-old Harrison Ford reprise the role. This is quoting James Mangold here. You have a wonderful, brilliant actor who's in his 80s. So I'm making a movie about a guy in his 80s. But his audience on other level doesn't want to confront their hero at that age. And I'm like, I'm good with it. We made the movie, but the question is, how would anything have made the audience happy with that? Other than having to start over again with a new guy. Mangold goes on to say that he was hurt by audience and critic reaction to the film, adding that he really wanted audiences to love Ford as he was and to accept that that's part of what the movie has to say. That things come to an end. That's part of life. It's not that Dial of Destiny was a bad film. The first half was decent. That opening sequence on top of the train was memorably realized. But the second half was weak and the ending was baffling. No big surprise that Ford confirmed that he's officially retired the character. A rumored reboot with Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character now seems very unlikely. There might not be much of a future for this storied franchise. Okay. It's not because he was old. I had no problem with Harrison Ford as an older Indiana Jones. When you look at the arc of the movies, starting with Raiders of the Lost Ark, and no, it's not Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark, it's Raiders of the Lost Ark. And then you go to Temple of Doom, which was kind of a prequel in the timeline because it took place before Raiders. And then you move on to The Last Crusade, which happens toward the end of World War II. Then you have Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which takes place in the 50s. Then you have Dial of Destiny, that takes place in the 60s. I should be right on that timeline. If I'm not, correct me in the chat down below. But when you look at Dial of Destiny, the writing was mid at best. The CGI was terrible. Phoebe Waller-Bridge was just unbearable. She was a girl boss. And yeah, they were setting this up for Phoebe Waller-Bridge to take over the mantle of Indiana Jones in an upcoming movie, which, thank God, it's not going to happen. Now, the comment section here is pretty telling, and I have to agree with most of them. But the question is, how would anything have made the audience happy? The answer is simple. Putting old Indy mostly exclusively in situations that challenge primarily his brain is what would have made the audience happy. Indy's age is no issue if he isn't required to win physical fights. Yeah. This person actually loved Indy 5. Good for you. Ford was the only good thing about the movie. I mean, I had no problem with Harrison Ford in the movie. I had a problem with the way he was written. As far as divorcing Marion and being an old curmudgeon. At least that's what I took out of it. But this comment here is the best comment of them all. Yes, it was Ford, not the dreadful script, where scene to scene there were basic plot inconsistencies, the terribly shot lifeless action scenes, the dreadfully cheap looking CGI, Phoebe Waller-Bridge being insufferable. Yeah. A kid that was a lazy short round knockoff with a gross prepubescent mustache, characters behaving in ways that boggled the mind, the poor de-aging, the bizarre attempt to try to erase the fourth film with weird tossed off one-liners. There you go. That pretty much sums it up. It wasn't because of Harrison Ford's age that this movie failed. This person here that put this post out in the comment section on World of Real hit the nail on the head. So there you go. You could agree with James Mangold. You could disagree with James Mangold. You could agree with me. You could disagree with me. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. The fact of the matter is this movie failed because of the writing, Phoebe Waller-Bridge being insufferable, the poor CGI, the plot holes, the editing of the movie, the way it was scatterbrained, for lack of a better term. Those are the reasons why this movie failed. If we would have got a fifth Indy movie that concentrated on Indy, not his goddaughter, it probably would have been a better movie. Most likely it would have been a better movie. But instead, we got the insufferable girl boss who took over center stage and made Indiana Jones a secondary character in his own movie. So, again, what do you guys think? Comment down below. While you're at it, please take the time to smash that like button. Give me a thumbs up if you like the things that I'm covering. Everything from Hollywood, pop culture, news, current events, sports, whatever fits your fancy, you're going to find it on my channel. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss a video. And with that, share this video out there with your friends and family, and I will see you guys later.